Good morning, ma'am. I know your name and your birthday po.
My name is Erin Denisha and my birthday is on September 20, 2015.
Okay, ma'am. So, today I will be assessing your mental status, your cranial nerves, your reflexes, your motor and sensory function. Is that okay with you, ma'am?
Okay po.
So, in order to do that, I will be needing your cooperation para maging accurate yung assessment natin for today. Is that okay, ma'am?
Okay po na.
So, gusto niyo po ba muna mag-CR bago po natin start yung assessment?
Hindi na po.
Assessment of the mental status. First to assess is the orientation and level of consciousness of the patient.
So, ma'am, alam niyo po ba kung nasan po kayo ngayon?
Nasa hospital po.
Can you state po yung time?
Today is 7 a.m. po.
So, ma'am, gaano na po katagal yung nararamdaman niyo?
3 days ago na po.
May mga times po ba na nahihirapan po kayong maalala or alalahanin po yung mga nangyayari po sa inyo or yung mga nangyayari po sa paligid niyo?
Hindi naman po. Wala naman po.
First is to assess immediate recall.
So, first po, 7, 4, 3.
7, 4, 2.
Next naman po, 7, 4, 3, 5, 7.
7, 4, 3, 5, 7.
Ngayon naman po ma'am, repeat niyo po yung sasabihin ko, pero backward naman po. 7, 4, 3.
3, 4, 7.
To assess recent memory.
Kanina po, may mga sinabi po akong information sa inyo bago po yung interview. Ma'am, naalala niyo po ba? Pwede niyo po sabihin sa akin ngayon.
Yung temperature ko po is 36.2, then yung blood pressure ko po is 120/80, and yung weight ko po is 45 kilograms po.
To assess remote memory.
Ma'am, naalala niyo po ba kung ano po yung mga ginawa niyo kanina bago po kayo pumunta dito?
Kumain po ako ng breakfast, then yung ulam ko po is bacon and egg. Then natid po ako ng burger ko po dito sa hospital. Then may nag-assist po sa akin ng mga staff papunta po dito sa room.
Then assess the patient's attention span and calculations.
So ma'am, may mga sakit po ba kayo or nag-undergo po ba kayo ng surgery 5 years ago?
Nag-undergo po ako ng tonsillectomy, and maliban po doon, usually common cold and cough po.
So ma'am, can you please recite the alphabet po for me?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y.
So ma'am, can you please subtract 7 or 3 po from 100?
Okay po. 93, 86, 79, 72, 65, 68, 61, 44, 37, 30, 23, 16, 9, 2.
Document findings in the client's record. Next is the assessment of cranial nerves. Cranial nerve 1 or olfactory.
So ngayon naman po ma'am, clear mo yung nose niyo. Sino po kayo dito? Tapos papatulong po dito. And then, close niyo po yung eyes niyo, tapos takpan niyo po yung isang ilong niyo, yung isang bulas po ng ilong niyo, tapos pipikit po kayo, and then may ipapangulit po ako sa inyo. Sasabihin niyo po sa akin kung ano po yung pinangulit po sa inyo. Close your eyes po, ma'am. Ano po yung
May coffee po.
So next ma'am, sa other side naman po. Ano po ano?
May soap po.
Then cranial nerve number 2 or optic. Then use Snellen chart to assess vision in each eye.
Cover niyo po yung right eye niyo. And then, basahin niyo po yung left eye. 1, 2, 3, 4.
E, F, P, P, O, V, L, P, E, D, P, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, Z, P, F, E, L, O, P, Z, D, D, E, F, P, O, T, E, C, L, E, P, O, D, P, O, T.
Okay, next naman po ma'am, yung sa left eye niyo po. Go.
E, F, P, P, O, D, L, P, E, D, T, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, D, P, F, E, L, O, P, G, D, E, P, P, O, T, E, C,
Next naman po ma'am, yung sa lower eyes niyo po.
E, F, P, P, O, Z, L, P, E, D, P, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, Z, P, F, E, L, O, P, Z, D, D, E, F, T, O, T, E, C, L, E, F, O, D, F, O, T.
Then ask the client to read a newspaper or magazine paragraph to assess near vision.
So ma'am, ngayon naman po, basahin niyo po yung sentence na 1, 2, 3, 4.
Umbrella tend to cover all high order thinking processes.
Next, assess visual fields of each eye by confrontation.
So ma'am, eto po, gamitin niyo po pang cover ng right eye niyo, tapos sabihin niyo po na yes kapag nakita niyo na po ito sa peripheral view. Is that okay ma'am? Okay po. 1, 2, 3, yes. Then sa right eye, sa kabila naman po. 1, 2,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
next naman po, sa kabila naman po yung over niyo. 1, 2, 3,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Next one is cranial nerve number 3 or oculomotor, number 4 trochlear, and number 6 abducens. First is inspect margins of the eyelids of each eye. Then assess extraocular movements.
Tapos ngayon naman po, sundan niyo po kung saan po ilalagay po yung pendrive.
Direct and indirect, and accommodation in both eyes.
Ang tingin naman po kayo sa tip ng pen light, tapos po tagas po yung tingin, and then tingin po ulit, tapos tagas po yung tingin. 1, 2, 3. Tingin po dito. Tingin po sa pen light. Tingin po. Tapos ngayon naman po ma'am, sundan niyo naman po yung pen light.
Then, cranial nerve number 5 or trigeminal. First is mandibular notch.
Clench niyo po yung teeth niyo. Tapos po ang
Then, cranial nerve number 5 or trigeminal. First is mandibular notch.
clench niyo po yung teeth niyo. Tapos po ang
Next is maxillary branch.
Close mo po yung eyes nyo, tapos itatouch ko po yung significant tsaka yung sa lip ko lang sa ballpen. Ang sabihin niyo po kung sharp po, yung ganito, or dull po yung nafe-feel niyo. Tapos sabihin niyo po kung alin side ko po pinatch. Close your eyes po.
Sharpness po sa may noo. Dullness po sa may noo. Dullness po sa may left cheek ko po. Sharpness po sa left cheek. Sharpness po sa may right cheek. Dullness po sa may right cheek. Dullness po sa may baba. Sharpness po sa may baba.
Open your eyes.
Next is ophthalmic branch. Test for corneal reflex.
Next naman po ma'am, itatouch ko po yung cornea nyo. Tingin po kayo sa malahay. Tapos tingin po kayo sa taas. Sa kabila naman. Tingin po kayo sa malayo. Tingin po kayo sa taas.
Cranial nerve number 7 or facial. Ask the client to smile, to frown, to whistle, to show teeth, to puff out cheek, purse lips, raise eyebrows, and close eyes tightly against resistance. Cranial nerve number 8 or auditory.
Naman po ma'am, gagawin po natin yung language or yung test po. So first, there's a ma'am, narinig niyo po ba siya equal sa both ears or mas malakas po sa isang ear po?
Sa parehas natin ang po narinig po.
Equal po ba?
Wala na po. Wala na po. Wala na po. Wala na po.
Cranial nerve number 9 or glossopharyngeal and cranial nerve number 10 or vagus.
Ito yung mouth mo. Tapos po, sige ako.
Then test for the gag reflex.
Open when you po ulit yung mouth.
Check the client's ability to swallow. Cranial nerve 11 or accessory. First is to assess trapezius muscles.
Tapos yung next naman po.
Assess sternocleidomastoid muscle. Then cranial nerve number 12 or hypoglossal. Assess the strength and mobility of the tongue. Ask the client to protrude tongue, move it to each side against the resistance of the tongue depressor, then put it in the mouth. Then document findings in the client's record. Then assessment of reflexes. First is biceps reflex. It tests the spinal cord C5, C6. Then triceps reflex. It tests the spinal cord level C7, C8. Next is brachioregiolis reflex, which tests the spinal cord level C3, C6. Then patellar reflex, which tests the spinal cord level L2, L3, L4. Then Achilles reflex, which tests the spinal cord level S1, S2. Then plantar or Babinski's reflex, used to determine adequacy of the central nervous system. Document findings in the client's record. Assess gross motor and balance tests. First is walking gait. Next, for the Romberg test, ask the client to stand erect with arms at the side and feet together. Note any unsteadiness or swaying. Then, with the client in the same body position, ask the client to close the eyes for 20 seconds. Again, note any imbalance or swaying. It will be called negative Romberg when the client stands erect with minimal swaying with eyes both open and closed and is able to maintain upright posture and foot stance. Then standing on one foot with eyes closed. Ask the client to close the eyes and stand on one foot and then the other. Stand close to the client during this test. Maintain stance for at least 5 seconds. Then heel-toe walking or tandem walking. Ask the client to walk a straight line, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other foot. Maintains heel-toe walking along the straight line. Next is toe or heel walking. Ask the client to walk several steps on the toes and on the heels. The client should be able to walk several steps on toes or heels. Next one is fine motor test for the upper extremities. First is finger to nose test. Then ask the client to abduct and extend the arms at shoulder height and rapidly the nose alternately with one index finger and then the other. Then the client repeats the test with eyes closed if the test is performed easily. Next is alternating supination and pronation of hands on knees. Patient can supinately and pronate hands at rapid pace alternately. Next is fingers. Then fine motor test for the lower extremities. First is heel down opposite shin. Then toe or ball of foot to the nurse's fingers. Ask the client to touch your finger with large toe of each foot. Move smoothly with coordination. Then document findings in the client's record. Then fingers to thumb. Ask the client to touch each finger of one hand to the thumb of the same hand as rapidly as possible. Rapidly touches each finger to thumb with each hand. First is light touch sensation. Ask the client to close eyes and respond by saying yes or no whenever the client feels the cotton wisp touching the skin. With the wisp of cotton, lightly touch one specific spot and the same time spot on the other side of the body. And ask the client to point the spot where the touch was felt. Next is pain sensation. Ask the client to close eyes and say sharp, dull, or don't know when the sharp or dull end of the broken tongue depressor is felt. Alternately, use the sharp and dull end to lightly prick designated anatomic areas of bondage, able to discriminate sharp and dull sensations. Next is temperature sensation. Touch skin areas with test tubes filled with hot or cold water. Have the client respond by saying hot, cold, or don't know. Next is position or kinesthetic sensation. Tactile discrimination. First is 1 and 2 point discrimination. If the client has a motor impairment of the hand that is unable to manipulate an object, write a number or letter in the client's palm. Then extinction phenomenon. Simultaneously stimulate two symmetric areas of the body such as thighs, the cheeks, or the hands. Both points of stimulus are felt. Then document findings in the client's record.